to our next session of our webinar. Today we're going to talk about the standards at the Reservation Department. Usually these standards are being qualified by the company called LQA, Leading Quality Assurance. And today we're going to focus on one of the department, which is Reservation Department. So our guest today will be Ilaha Nasibbayli, who will be presenting this presentation for your information. During the webinar, please feel free to ask the question or comment it. Thank you. You can start, Ilaha.
Hello, good evening. So shall we start?
Yes, please, we can.
Okay. So today I'm going to speak about the LQA standards at Reservations Department. So first of all, I'll give you the quick agenda, what we are going to cover today. First of all, I'll give brief information about the LQA. What is this? It's like general information, their clients, and how do they measure. And the second, I'll give brief information LQA at hotel. So since we are talking about the hospitality industry, so we will dive in the hotel, and specifically we will go into reservations department. That is my area of expertise. So I'll talk more about the reservations department, how it's being conducted. Then I'll talk about the limitations, what are the pros and cons of that assessment. Then I'll give some information about what are the other quality measurements, because there are lots of them. And then I'll give brief information about the recommendations. What would I suggest? So those are the quick housekeeping notes for our participants that they can take notes for themselves. So you can go just one by one, and this is for your convenience, of course. Before starting about the general information, I would ask Ceyhun just give this quick questionnaire about the LQA, because I'm not going to give some information before asking you that you guys, if you know what is LQA standing for.
Okay.
So you don't have time just to go through those. It's really interesting for me that do you know, or it's just your first time that you're gonna get this information? Okay, I see some results, which is true, yes. And any other answers? We have here one answer, and if anyone going to vote again, so I can wait 30 more minutes, 30 seconds. So here I see the correct answer for LQA. This is, yes, correct. This is leading quality assurance. So let me end the poll. Thank you for attending to the poll. So LQA is standing for leading quality assurance. As you know, it's in most of the industries actually that they have their own standards, because you cannot start your day-to-day operations with your own standards. So there should be set some international standards that in hotels and in most of the leading brand hotels that they are applying those standards. And leading quality assurance is one of the such standards that they set those standards to the hotels for each and every service department that they are applying in their day-to-day operations. So this company, those informations actually I take from their own website. So you can see here, LQA works in 130 countries all over the world, and most of them are leading brand chain hotels. And so I'll give information how they are carrying the measurements, but this is the just brief information that they are going to the hotel and they are assessing each and every service department individually. And at the end of the day assessment, they are giving, providing the full report including narratives, including recordings. That is mostly in reservations that they are always providing those recordings of the assessment. And also, not only the assessment, but also they are giving recommendations. This is one of the important things, that recommendations is mainly given by those industrial professionals. So LQA, I'll give you some detailed information about them, that how they are working. They are experienced about 20 years. So their employees are also experienced in this ways. That's why they are not only making the assessment, but also they're giving recommendations, which areas should be improved. So how it should be improved as well. You can see here, and those informations, you can see here the source, their website. So you can feel free go to their website also to search for more detailed information about this leading quality assurance. And this is also from their website, that those are mainly their clients. You can see here the most of the leading hotel chains. Most of them are stated here. And now we have to know how they are measuring their hotels, how they are doing this. First of all, the anonymous person, mostly in a hotel, it's called mystery guest, mystery shopper. The person arriving to the hotel and staying at the hotel and testing, assessing all the hotel departments, all the hotel services. And after all of these tests, they are sending the report, full report about the assessment to the hotel, and also the feedbacks, everything with the materials, and also the recommendations. So this is the mainly how they are making their measurements. And those measurements are being done by a consultant. So LQA calls those person consultants, hotels, mostly calling them the Mr. Guest, Mr. Shopper. So those consultants are actually, they are also from the sphere itself. So they already know what's the sphere itself, which services they should assess, and what to expect from the employees from the perspective of the quality, perspective of the service. So those people are experienced people from the sphere, so they are they have really tenure as a consultant in this sphere. So this is what LQA mainly doing, and this is the measurement that they are mainly doing: communication, training, assessing, action, and analyzing. So for those hotels who are applying this leading quality assurance in their hotel, those are main services that they are getting from the LQA during the assessment. So they are communicating, they are training, and also in their website you can go and you can find they have courses as well. So they are also giving trainings, assessments, and they are also giving how to make an action, what to do in order to improve the service, quality of the service in the hotel. And this is one of the graphs that you can see here. They are giving you the recommendation, and they are giving you overview. What's the position of your hotel in terms of the competition to other hotels? So you can see here the graphs. This is like, this is not actual about this in a hotel. So it's like general info that generally graph looks like this. To give the overview to the hotel, to understand where do they stand. This was the general information about LQA that most of the hotels are really applying to assess, to find out the quality of their hotel, the service quality of their hotel. And you see here the hotel departments. This is general hotel departments because it can really differ to the hotel to hotel. Most of the, for example, reservations in most of the hotels under revenue department, in some hotels under sales, in some hotels it's just under front office. So it doesn't describe any specific hotel, it's just the departments of the hotel. I have shown here in the graph. But mainly today, I want to say that the LQA mainly focuses on the service departments because they are assessing the quality of the service that is being delivered to the guest. So as service departments, you can see here reservations, front office, F&B, and other services outlets like spa treatments. Those departments are on the loop of this LQA assessment. And from those departments, today I'll cover the reservations, which is my area of expertise that I have worked in several brand hotels as a reservations manager. So today I'll cover the LQA standard mainly in reservations department. So here you see I have put this LQA list, which covers, and this mystery guest or mystery caller, mystery shopper, how do you call them? He is calling he or she is calling the hotel and going through all of these steps. And those things should be covered step by step, each and every reservations agent. I'll go through them. This is just one of them. You can see here. I can show you. This is the whole list. And I couldn't put full list in one slide, that's why I'll go partially. So part by part, I'll cover all of them. So let's start from the first one. So basically, each and every reservation agent attending to the call should go through all of those steps and cover most of them during the call, while making the reservations. So why this is important? Because this is the set standards by LQA that quality of reservation depends on those facts that agent attending the call should cover all of them. So I will go through step by step and explain that why are all those important, because most of the times it really seems too much. And most of the agents and most of the hotel employees think that this is too much for an employee to go through all of them, because it's not always possible to do all of them in one call. But this is the set standard, and each of those stated procedures has their own meaning. So I'll go through and tell you why. The first one is the telephone answered within 3 rings or 10 seconds with an appropriate greeting. The 3 ring is very important because this is the first impression of the guest calling the hotel. Not guest, he is the person he is calling is the potential guest. So that's why I'm calling the person guest. So if you are answering within 3 rings, not exceeding the rings, so then the person is not getting bored, and first impression would be really good for that person. The people in the hotel are attending their requirement, because this is the first attempt that the guest ring while calling the hotel. So you have to attend those rings on timely manner. And also the appropriate greeting. I know that it can differ hotel to hotel. Some hotels are Marriott, for example, changed. They are saying at your service, and some of them they are saying, may I help you? So it can differ, but there should be appropriate greeting of the day, hotel name, department name, and the name of the agent who is attending the call. This is also important, how you are pronouncing your name, that person calling you understand that who they are talking to. So this is the first important thing, that person calling to hotel should understand that who they are talking to and who is attending that call. Second one is called efficiency. Why it's called efficiency, I'll explain. If the caller is put on hold, did the employee ask permission to do so, and they did not exceed 30 seconds? So this is something that it's not always happening in each and every call, because it's sometimes happening if the agent wants to make something clear and makes to get some defined information from manager or someone, then they can put someone on the hold. It's not always happening. So the reply of the mystery shopper to this question would be not applicable as well. As you see from another side, I have put yes, meet standards, not applicable, below standards, and engaged, because the mystery shopper who's assessing this agent, they are putting the answers of this yes or meet standards. This is green because those are giving the points to the agent. Not applicable is not either giving or deducting any point from the agent, because there should be in a situation that there wouldn't be any situation to put the guest on hold. So this can be not applicable as well during the conversation. Below standard, this is what that shouldn't be. So we expect that it shouldn't be there. And engage, it's at the end of the conversation. So I'll cover that. I'll come to that later on. The third one is the service. Did the employee obtain all the guests and children's names and clarify spelling when required? So name is important because you should take the guest's name in order to address during the conversation, and at least 3 times you should address to the guest by his or her name, because this is the basics of the personal touch to the guest. If you want to make personal touch, you should get the name and also with the correct spelling. And those who works in reservations or front office, they mainly know the spelling standards. There are special standards that you have to spell the name in order to check that did you get the name correctly, because most of the time you get international calls and names are not familiar to you, so you can make the quick spelling check with the spelling standards. For example, my name is Ilaha. I'll spell that I for India, L for Lima, A for Alpha, H for Hotel, and R for Alpha. So this clarifies that did I get the name correctly, because during the conversation, I'll address to that person with that name, and also I'll make the booking with that name. So this is also a very important thing to obtain the guest name. Another one is that did the employee confirm date in and date out? So it's also important because in order to give you the rate, the correct rate, because from day to day it can change. So in order to give the right name, right rate of the room, you should first of all obtain the date in and date out also. And in specific dates, maybe you have special packages that you are going to offer. So this is one of the important things. So it also should be meet standards. If it doesn't meet standards, that means that you didn't sell the proper room or proper product to the guest. Then it comes to the employee clarify if the caller had stayed before. So why it's important? So if the guest has stayed in your hotel, that means that person has already any profile in your system. So that profile has number, email. If the guest is the loyalty member, also those details and everything is on the system. And this really makes the job of the agent very, very easy because everything is there. And what you are going to do, you are just going through the details on the system and checking, just cross-checking that I see your number here, this, is it right? And he is confirming, that's it. So you are not taking again and again any detail from the guest, because guests also can become bored that I already stayed in your hotel, why don't you have my details? So this is really important. And from another point of view, that from the reservations quality point of view, if you have any profile in a system, you shouldn't make duplicate profiles. So you should check that if the guest stayed in your hotel before, you should go and fetch the same profile of the guest and attach to the new reservation, not making duplicate profile in a system. You should have one profile for each guest with all detailed information. That's it. So that's why really important. It makes the job of the agent really easy, and for the guest also not being bored on the phone each and every time with those procedures. And that's, the next one is did the employee clarify the purpose of visit? This is also important because guests arriving for the business purposes, you cannot offer them your leisure purposes mainly, because if that person wants really which business purpose amenities do you have? For example, if guests coming with their kids and you are starting offering the business facilities, that will be really boring to that guest. So in order to offer the prices, the exact amenities of your hotel, you should find out that what's the real purpose of that person. This is just really works for the selling techniques of the agent to make the selling just to the point of the employees of that guest's purpose. Then obviously we go to the sales opportunities, the seventh one, where a minimum of 2 room types rates offered. This is from point of view the variety. As you know, the people, it's always called the consumer behavior. From consumer behavior point of view, the guests from in all spheres, actually, in market, even in shops, in retail shops, everywhere, people likes diversity, people likes the differentiation of the product. So here also in hotel, you are offering different kinds of hotel, room types, rates. So this really gives big opportunity to the caller to choose between them. If you are giving only one room type, if you are offering only one rate, so it will be really difficult for a guest to choose, to make decision. But in order to make decision, you can just give variety of options, and then guests will be really happy to choose between of them. And another thing here, while you are offering most of your rates, most of the room types, you should offer them, because after arriving to the hotel, the guests will find out that there are more room types that they didn't know, and they could book one of them as well. And they will really become disappointed that why we were not offered those room types as well. This is from the upgrade point of view as well. So you are making just a small upgrade that you have upgraded rooms also, so guests can choose from them also. This is the sales opportunity. Another one is the sales opportunity of did the employee attempt to do the right sell? This is selling technique, actually. In selling technique, I want to cover the one thing about the benefits and features. So each and every reservation agent should know the features and benefits that they are selling. What is this? For example, if you are selling a room and you are starting telling that we have a room with balcony and sea view, that is not really enough. That is not really enough, because guests will think that, okay, what to do with that? You have to give some broad information that, okay, we have sea view, so you can just enjoy the picturesque scenery just from your balcony. So if you are giving this benefit, then it will be really effective selling technique that guests will be really happy that, okay, so from my balcony, I'll have sea view. Not only just selling that all of our rooms are with sea view. So you have to give the benefits as well. This is one of the really main selling techniques that each and every reservation agent should know. And most of the time, the managers, reservations manager, having those files, providing their agents that they should know them and go through and while attending those calls. Then did the employee clearly state the room rate and what about what's included, what's not included? You may have seen that when you are calling the hotel, most of the time agents saying that this is the rate and plus and plus VAT plus those fees, and you don't know what will be your fee at the end of the day. This is really something not clear most of the time to the callers. So that's why reservations agents should clearly state that what will be the end rate after adding the taxes, after adding the whatever there will be any fee. So as well as when you are stating the rate, if the caller asks you, can you please give me the rate in dollars or in other currencies? So they should make sure that they are going to the reliable source of exchange rates to see that what's the exchange rate for today, and stating that if I'm giving you the rate in foreign currency, this is for today's currency exchange rate, because currency exchange rates are changing. If you are not stating that clearly, tomorrow guests will come to the hotel and ask the same rate, that currency rate may be changed and there should be something different rate. So this is really important to be really attentive there when you are giving the rates in different currency. So it should be stated that this is according to today's currency rate. So tomorrow it may change. So it's subject to change, of course. Then did the employee obtain the caller's telephone number, address? Those are the technical things that I have already told, that those goes to the guest profile. So you should always put all those details carefully, because when you would like to send confirmation letter, email address will be necessary. When you would like to reach out the guest, then telephone number would be necessary. So those are the main contact details that we need. And also for our marketing department as well, that they will need the guest details to get in touch after the guest departure. So this is the main task of reservation agent, to take those details carefully. They go to the database of the hotel. And also to obtain a guarantee for the reservation. Those are technical sides of the reservation that each and every reservation agent should go through and guarantee the booking. And there is one point, that after you are offering all of those rates, rooms, facilities, amenities, there should be main question that the reservation agent should ask: should I go ahead with the booking? You should ask this to the guest in order to get that. Do they want or don't want? If you are offering all those amenities and really taking time to explain the guests all room types, differences, and also maybe you are offering some special packages, but after all of those, you should immediately ask that, would you like me to go ahead with the booking? Because it's the trick of confirming that person to go ahead with the booking, then okay, they will make their decision. So you have to trigger the process, that asking, would you like me to go ahead with the booking? So then there is written that cancellation policy should be stated clearly, and also the check-in and check-out times. So those are also technical sites that each and every reservation agent should go through while making reservation. Those are basic informations that guests should know while making the booking, because after arriving the hotel very early, they can get upset that we were not informed that your check-in time is this, because it sometimes differs hotel to hotel, as well as when the hotels are in peak season, they can also amend their check-in and check-out time. So guests should be informed about this accordingly, in order to avoid the service disruptions. So then comes the employee use the caller's name naturally. So those are emotional intelligence. That means that reservation agent shouldn't make the reservation like a robot. So you are not just picking up the phone and going through all of those questions one by one as a robot, because you should understand that the person who is attending the call is a human being. So you also should show your emotional intelligence, pronounce the guest name several times, and also showing empathy. And also, if they are coming with children, maybe you start offering some amenities to the kids. If you have some kid activities, you can promote them also. So those are going to the emotional intelligence of the agent. You shouldn't make the reservation as a robot. You should understand that the person calling you wants to get personal touch, and this may trigger the guests to go ahead with the booking. So your emotional intelligence really affects the booking process, and you are the first person who can gain the caller you can gain the potential caller guest to the hotel. So that's why the emotional intelligence is very important here. And also, there is one of the things here was the employee able confidently answer question about other hotel facilities. Reservations agents are attending to the call. They are not only talking about the rooms, because guests can each and every time ask about the other facilities as well. So which restaurants do you have? Do you have half board? Do you have full board? So many questions that they can receive from the guests. So they should be really ready to answer. If they don't have any information, they should say that, okay, I'll take this note for me and send you while sending confirmation later. I'll state them in the email that you asked me. So it should be answered to the guest whenever you have any chance. You get any chance to, you should answer to the guest via email later on as well. So you should know the potential questions that you can receive from the guest. Then what service adjusted to meet the caller's need? So those are mainly goes to the emotional intelligence as well. Did the employee make every effort to meet the caller's request to offer suitable and alternative? Alternative is sometimes you are offering, if the guest asking for discounts, some packages, some full board or half board, something incentives. So if you don't have in your hotel, you should find some alternatives to offer the guest, because if you are not offering the alternative, then guests will think that, okay, they don't have any attractive packages that I can choose from. So you should always have some alternatives to offer if you don't have any options that guest is asking for. Then did an employee personalize the interaction in any way and engage the callers as an individual? So this is like, it's also like personal touch. You should attend the call as an individual, because if the guest coming with their kids, if that guest coming for honeymoon, if that guest coming for celebrating birthday, so you have to find out that what's the real purpose, and then make your attitude accordingly. So guests will think that, okay, that is personal touch. Okay, they care about my stay in that hotel. And next one, 29. Did the employee actively listen, avoid interrupting, and give the caller their undivided attention? So it's like you should listen carefully, and sometimes you are the guest giving some information, but you don't listen, and then you are asking to get the same information again. So this is also something that really takes point from your LQA assessment. So everything should be clearly listened. The 30, okay. Did the employee display self-control and empathy? So all of those are going to emotional intelligence. So if the agent is making their booking confidently, if they're attending to the call very, if there is with self-control and empathy. So those are really important. As you see here in the list, technical skills, and then selling skills and emotional skills. Those three parts are really important for getting the good quality grades. So did the employee offer to send confirmation letter? So this is at the end. Agents, of course, they are getting the email addresses of the guests, and they should send the confirmation letter. But it differs hotel to hotel. Some hotels are sending within 24 hours. Some hotels have standards for 2 hours. So whatever standard you have, you should meet those standards. If you are, promise the guest that you are sending confirmation letter within 2 hours, so you should do so. You shouldn't exceed that 2 hours. So that's why if you are in peak season, then you shouldn't promise that 2 hours to the guest. So you can say that within 24 hours you will get our confirmation letter, and that confirmation letter should include all the details of the reservation and also special requests and everything that guests ask for. So for them to be happy that everything is stated there and clearly, so they know that when to come, how to come, and everything is stated there. So this is very important. The last one is for the Mr. Guest note, the emotion. The emotion can be engaged or not engaged. So we are looking for the engaged emotion of the reservation agent. So this is the whole list that the agent should go through. And as you see from the list, all of them are really important. And as a guest, for me as a caller, I would also expect from an agent to go through all of those things, because it makes the reservation really sophisticated, and then you don't have any question that you forget to answer, to get any answer. This is the whole list actually, but there are of course limitations of this assessment. As you said, this list is too long, and for an agent to go through all of those things is not always possible, because when there are peak seasons and guests are calling and when you are getting back-to-back calls, it's not always easy. So that's why there is objectivity limitation, that sometimes you cannot able to go through all of those calls. But if it's mystery caller, you should go all of them. But sometimes when some guests calling, I mean real callers, they don't like the agents to go through all of those procedures, because they say that just make my reservation. I don't want you to go. Why you're asking my purpose of visit? Why you're asking me? Shall I use your any other outlets? I mean, those things like guests think that this is confidential or something personal, and they don't like agents to ask them those kind of questions. So this is another side of this process. And what I mean by objectivity, another side of limitation is that most of the time reservations agents, they understand that this is test call or not. If they say that this is international number, if they start the call like, hello, I want to make a booking, and they have that standard tone of voice, and they have the standard sentences that they're always using. So experienced sales agents in reservations department, they can immediately understand that this is test call. So they understand and they start going through all of those steps. And at the end, they get really good score. But when they say that, okay, it might not be a test caller, so they are avoiding all those steps to go through one by one. So this is the objectivity, but objectivity can be for both sides. For example, test callers, sometimes they are also giving lower grades, and thanks to the recordings that they are providing, the hotel can go through that recordings and then check that if the agent is downgraded or something like this. So you can go through all of them and then make some corrections as well. So objectivity is one of the limitations. And also frequency of tests. Sometimes it's up to the hotels, the frequency of the test. For example, in some hotels, agents receive 2 times a week tests. I mean, at least 6 times a month they have tests. So it's sometimes boring for the agents. It's not always LQA, other test callers also, like I'll cover them later on in upcoming slides about IFH. There is also more test calls for the reservations department, that it can be really really tiring for the agents, because trying to carry out the day-to-day operation and plus those test calls and everything, it's sometimes they're really tiring for the agents. But the golden rule here is that you shouldn't find out that is it test caller or not, because all guests, all callers should be treated as test caller, because you should apply those standards in each and every call that you're attending. So this is the golden rule for each and every department carrying out this service, delivering service to the guests. And then the confidentiality of the report, because sometimes some agents are really getting lower grades and they don't want other departments as well as even their own core workers to know about this, because it makes them sometimes really frustrated. So that's why confidentiality should be always there. But if the agent is getting really good grades, above 90, above 95, whatever the set goal of your department, if you are setting goal that you shouldn't get below 95, and the agent's always getting above 95%, there should be good outcomes after the report. So you should really appreciate those scores coming from your agents. So those are the other quality measurements. IFH is one of the test calls as well, carried out for the reservations department. And this is mainly happening at least 6 times a month. So it differs hotel to hotel. Maybe there are some hotels that they are not even carrying out this measurements. They have sometimes internal, department inside the reservations department. Manager may be making some quality test calls to the agents, and sometimes departmental from other departments. You are asking to call the reservation department and make that fake calls and to check the quality. So there are more. So there are more to find out the KPI of your department. Those are the recommendations to the reservations department, how to succeed in to their goal, because most of the time you see that department is really below their goal. They cannot succeed higher grades. And I think that this is my personal opinion, that the main thing that agents, they really not familiar is about the actual product. They most of the time they don't know what's inside the rooms, what's served in the restaurants, how looks like their pool. The product itself is not always familiar to the agents, because they are sitting in the office and they are trying to sell from the office the product that they haven't seen, and maybe they have seen in the photos in the website of their hotel. So that's why familiarization trips are very important. You are sending your agents to the hotel to stay 2 nights, 3 nights, so it's up to the how huge the hotel is. So if they are resort hotel, if they have more outlets, so then agents may stay more than normal hotels. So those agents should taste the product by themselves, first of all, before selling that to the guests. They should know what's the product knowledge. They should know what are the really good things in the hotels that they can use as a selling point. This is my recommendation to the most of the hotels, that agents should know what they're selling and what is the product. They should know the sense of the product. Then internal trainings. This is mainly being done by the L&D departments, that they are doing this trainings, but internal one is mostly being done by reservations managers. They are finding out the areas of development of their agents, and doing these trainings accordingly. So it's up to them. It's really main responsibility of the managers to find out that which areas of improvement there for their agents to conduct those trainings. Also cross trainings, because as you seen in one of the questions in the LQA, that agents should be confident to answer questions about other departments as well. So they should be cross trainings as well. So they find out that which outlets do they have, which services do they provide. So it will be really facilitating factor for the agents from selling point of view. And new structural test calls. What I mean by this, not normal structured test calls. You should put some pressure sometimes when you're making test calls. You should make like scenario, angry guest or demanding guest, or a guest who is asking too many questions. You should have those scenarios, and this will be new structural test calls, because most of the test calls are really standard. So agents are going through all those questions one by one. They're covering all the steps, and that's it. And this is not something that can help the agents to improve themselves. They can be improved by different scenarios. So I would suggest to have some structural test calls. And incentives that I already covered. When the agents are getting really high grades, you should motivate them. You should give some incentives by grading them like employee of month. You should nominate them that this agent is really doing good in terms of the quality of service. So you can give such incentives to your agents to motivate them. If the other agents are not getting really high scores, they will also get motivated that they can also get that incentives if they get higher scores. So this is my recommendation for the managers to get the highest score in LQA. So today we covered the what's LQA and how it's been measured. And how it's measured in Reservations Department. What are the limitations and also the recommendations. So that's it. Thank you very much. Thank you for attending. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And I will ask of Nejat if there are any questions. So
yeah, thank you very much, Ilaha, for the detailed webinar. I do believe that it was beneficial and useful for our participants. Dear participants, if you do have any questions or comments, please feel free about typing it in our Zoom link and in the Facebook page as well. There was one of the comments which was sent by Ramin Aliyev, was saying that as per his view, that there will be a new standards related to the LQA after the current pandemic. So the short answer is yes, it's maybe. However, we need to put it in our mind that LQA is not doing the standards from their head, more rather than it's a collaboration with the hotel chains. So for example, if hotel chain will add any standards that Mr. Shopper have to audit it, so they will do it. I will give one example. In Accor hotels in this year, in 2020, they had added the sustainability standards. So any hotel around the world, if it will be audited by LQA, will be checked as per the sustainability as well. So it's more depend from the hotel chains and of course from the guest perspective. We have another comment from Germany. She's saying that thank you so much for the information webinar. Looking forward to more webinars. Yes, thank you very much. We are looking forward to have other sessions related to LQA, other departments related to LQA. This was our first conduct about the reservation. we hope to do it more and more. So I do believe that that's all. Thank you very much, dear participants. Kindly subscribe to our channels, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We hope it was very benefit session for today. Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a good
you.
night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.